Hey everybody, welcome to Fright Fight. I am Nick.
I'm Joe.
And here on Fright Fight, what we do is we take two horror franchises, put them head to head, make them fight movie by movie, and figure out which is the superior franchise.
And today we got part 2 of Friday the 13th and... God damn it.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Get up and kill!
Okay, so what we do is we're going to introduce the movies, and then we'll just start scoring. We score based on 5 things: characters, kills, body count, score, as in music, and best overall. So, we'll jump right into it. Our very first movie
Is Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th, Part 2.
So, Friday the 13th Part 2 is the first movie we watched, and of course it's a sequel to Part 1. And it's pretty much a retread for the most part. Same kills, same pacing, same music choice. It's pretty much...
Ralph's back.
Ralph's back, it's great. Ralph really is a treasured hero among all of us.
Like you said, pretty simple stuff. It's yet another group of people 5 years later going to Crystal Lake, and one by one they start to die. So, yeah. I guess now it's my turn.
Yeah, you get to tell us the glory that is Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Hang on now, I'll grab it. Freddy's Revenge.
So,
I'll let you hold on to that.
in the most Italian-American horror movie I've ever seen in my life, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 follows Jesse, who has just moved into 1428 Elm Street, and Freddy has decided to take over his body for some reason. Well, with characters, you said before that usually Nightmare has the better characters, and Friday is just a bunch of names, really. So, is that another round with this?
I'd say both of them are, for the most part, kind of names. The only reason Nightmare seems to be stronger is just because Nightmare holds on to its characters a little bit longer before they get the axe. Ralph, of course, is just undisputed my favorite character till the end of time. Just because, I mean, after all, we're all doomed.
Yeah, which, sorry, buddy.
I know. we have to say goodbye to Ralph in the first 20 minutes, and it's pretty tough. I mean,
Rest in peace, Ralph.
rest in peace, Ralph.
And I will always love you.
So your pretty much your vote is going to be Friday then?
I would say Friday, yes, just because there's more characters that have stuff going on. Nightmare seems there's the two main characters, but everyone else kind of really falls by the wayside.
Right. You have Jesse, who's, I mean, for the most part, he's just crying the whole time and just whining and complaining.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to be like wanting to fight Freddy. He kind of seems like he's already given up.
Yeah.
And which I think is a nice contrast to
Nancy, who was going full-on Kevin McAllister on him in the first one.
Yeah, just...
So...
Which was, I mean, it's not a bad change, but it's just, I didn't think it worked. Much like most of them.
Well, yeah, no. Even Freddy wasn't, like, Freddy was still kind of becoming Freddy at this point, so we can't really fault him and be like, well, he's not the Freddy we know. Well,
yeah.
Fucking of course he isn't. But, like, he was more of a monster, like, more of a... He was more of, like, an entity than he was anything else. He felt more like Jason did in Friday the 13th.
More like a force of nature than actual...
Like, he wasn't his same, like, evil, twisted self.
It's
a totally different... It's just, it doesn't feel like a Nightmare on
It's
Elm Street
really
at
a
all.
pretty out of place.
Yeah, it's bad.
I know we're talking about characters.
characterization.
This is pretty out of place.
Yeah.
Movie,
Just
characters all
across
over.
the board. On the idea of going without a place, at the end of the movie, where the whole crux of, okay, well, this is how we defeat Freddy is with our love, it is not established at all that these two love each other in any way. It's just he literally drives her to school, and then she kisses him on the cheek, and then suddenly they love each other, I guess.
So yeah, it was kind of funny because it seemed like the entire time there was kind of this parallel of Jesse becoming Freddy and while also establishing this relationship, and both just fail, and it's not spectacular. It's just kind of boring, really.
Just, meh. Really.
Yeah,
and that's kind of one of the reasons that this movie is kind of infuriating, because it's like there's nothing really in the movie that really stood out as being great or funny, with the exception of, like I said, I like the melting room, and the scene where Freddy comes out of Jesse. That looked great. And then there's Yo-Yo, that iconic scene that "You are all my children now." Just establishing that, this is the power plant that Freddy used to bring his victims. Like, everything else, like, those are pretty much the things that you can kind of take away from this movie. And everything else you can just ignore. Because it's not a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It just doesn't feel like it. So from characters, we usually go straight to best kills.
Best kills.
And let's just go ahead and talk about it right now. We'll talk about the shittiest kills, which happens to be the end of both fucking movies,
pretty much.
You have Friday's non-ending. Literally, a character we think one of the characters dies. And
we just don't know. We'll never figure it out.
Worst kill with Nightmare on Elm Street happens at the end. Going on the bus, doing the whole thing. There's the fake freak out. Oh, he's speeding up, whatever. And then fucking, it's happening. You know it's gonna happen.
Yes.
It's not bad that it happens. It's bad how shittily
it looks.
It's not bad that it happens. It's bad that how shitty it looks. Right. So with the girl talking and saying, "Oh no, everything's fine. You got nothing to worry about." Jump cut, like
in the same shot.
Same shot. Like YouTube jump cut, like real fucking bad. But a fucking claw just pops right out of her chest after the jump cut. It just looks. Look. Just take a look.
Jesse, it's okay. It's all over.
So I think for both of us, best kill easily has to be Friday the 13th's wheelchair scene, which is...
God, yeah, it's fucking...
It's great.
It's... When I think of Friday the 13th Part 2,
it really is just...
Think of the fucking wheelchair scene.
It really is just... It just sums up the entire movie perfectly.
And, like, there's nothing to compare it to when it comes to Nightmare.
Yeah, Nightmare... It's so weird, because the first Nightmare was really creative, and the second Nightmare just...
Yeah, it's...
Not whatsoever.
Yeah. There's, like, shit at the pool party, and, I don't know, kids are, like, getting slashed, and I guess burned alive in water?
Yeah, that didn't make sense when the pool water caught on fire.
But, I mean, Freddy, magic... power demon.
Does it count as good kills though?
No, it doesn't matter.
He's kind of cheating.
It's a fucking wheelchair dude with a machete in his face going down a flight of fucking steps. Like, that wins. This is the only time this will ever happen. Nightmare on Elm Street has one more kill than, if you count Paul, he has one more kill than Friday the 13th. Yep. 11 total people die, counting everybody in the pool scene and the 2 actual kills that Freddy gets. And whereas Friday only has 10. 9 if you don't count Paul.
Since we don't know the fate of Paul, we're going to assume he's dead.
Right. But at the same time, we don't really know the fate of Terry either, because I don't know if you see her in the shack. But
yeah,
it's basically, she's fucking dead. So
yeah.
Paul's fucking dead. But yeah, so unfortunately, the only time you're ever going to get a point.
Nightmare Part 2.
Part 2 wins with that. scrubbing that memory, let's move on to the next category, which is going to be the score, the music. I think I might have just lied because I think I'm actually going to give it to Nightmare.
Give it to Nightmare on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's fair enough. Friday the 13th didn't really do too much new with its score. A lot of it felt very, very familiar to the point where I wasn't sure if they were actually just using the same music.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I like Manfredini's score. Like I said in the last episode, like I listen to the Friday the 13th soundtrack when I'm working on stuff, so I like it a lot. But there's a lot of instances in Friday the 13th where it just something felt missing. And
yes.
And it felt really flat.
And that's something, because last time I had mentioned that was a strength of the first Friday, and that's definitely a detriment here because there just isn't enough music. Because the first 50 minutes of Friday are pretty dry.
Yeah.
Not a lot goes on, and I think some music would help it kind of along the way.
Okay, Joe, well, that brings us to the very last category, which is going to be best overall.
Indeed, and for me, my favorite's going to
Yeah, no shit. So, you're going to want to go ahead and follow us right here on Instagram. It's at Moderately Neato. We also have a Facebook, facebook.com/Moderately Neato. Got a Twitter, at Moderately Neato, except for the O, it's a 0 because some cocksucker is sitting on that goddamn Twitter account and won't let it go.
It's okay,
so,
Nick.
It's fucking annoying. It's fucking so stupid. Why did the dog have a man face?
Moderately Neato.